I'm gonna go ahead and try to make mine as small as possible just because I want to make sure that when we're cooking them, they've got a nice uniform.
Oh wow, this just shows how much better you are than I am.
Goodness.
You're already like 7 slices into it, and I barely cut mine in half. We can tell who the chef is here, for sure.
Do you enjoy cooking?
Every now and then.
Sure.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not nearly as good as my grandmother was.
Sure.
My daughter likes to bake, which is neat because, when my brother and I were growing up, my mom had this old, it was ancient, the spine was cracked. It was an old Betty Crocker red cookbook. It was like this classic
exactly
cookbook.
what you're talking about.
I passed that on to my daughter. And so my wife, Erica, and I sometimes bake with her.
Me being from New England, tacos usually are kind of a nighttime thing, so...
Yeah, I don't remember a time when we didn't eat them. They're so common. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, in a household with a grandmother who was born in Mexico and had come over as a young girl, and she grew up her whole life eating tacos. And so when my brother Joaquin and I were little, a lot of mornings, we would find her already when we woke up, rolling the tortillas. She'd make the tortillas from scratch. And the question of the morning was basically what kind of tacos were we going to get? Sometimes they were bean and cheese, sometimes they were potato and egg, other times they were, whatever else she had around. But breakfast tacos were like the staple of our mornings a lot of days.
Potatoes, we're gonna go ahead and put them into a nice hot skillet. We'll do a little bit of olive oil. Perfect.
All right, looking good. Probably the ones that look great are yours, and the ones that are a little bit too big are mine.
We're
We're
a team here, so yeah. Let's definitely get some seasoning in here. You wanna grab the pepper, I'll grab the salt, and we'll meet in the middle here. All right, perfect. And then a little bit of our smoked paprika in there. So we'll just let that hang out a second. We got some work to do with our chipotle peppers. We're just gonna throw them right into the pan, so that's easy.
There you go.
Done. These are obviously dehydrated, dried peppers, so we'll do a little bit of a rehydration here.
In our backyard, we used to have these little chilies, these little red chilies, but they were super small, nothing like this.
Do you have any special memories with your wife?
We went on our first date and I ordered this big plate of nachos, but it was our first date and she didn't order anything.
Typical woman.
I started to freak out. I thought, she doesn't want to be here, but eventually she picked off some of my nachos. So we're gonna go back in May, and I'm going to order the same nachos, and hopefully she'll order something.
Good. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
We've been married for 11 years, so she should.
Let's go ahead and do some more chopping.
Terrific. One of the best parts of tacos is that you can make them healthy, right? With tomatoes, the celery, vegetables. They're cheap, but they can also be healthy, which is great.
Absolutely.
Especially these days,
Tell me a little bit more about this salsa too, because this is a tomato salsa that you're very familiar with.
Folks will probably know that there are a lot of different types of salsas. Some of them there's chile verde or green salsa.
Yeah.
There's chile rojo, red salsa. This is tomato-based salsa. And people like their salsa super hot. Some folks like it, mild. We'll see what we get this time, but I like it sort of in between, kind of not too hot, but not too mild, just to give it a little bit of a a kick. This looks like a serious piece of machinery, right?
I know you can handle. I wouldn't give you anything that I didn't think
used one
you
of
could
these,
handle.
There's a first time for everything.
Got a little bit of fresh cilantro.
Every time I smell cilantro, it reminds me of home. It's getting a little bit stacked in here.
You got it.
Full, yeah.
It's going to be powerful. I'm telling you, it's going to take off like a jet engine. We've got a little bit of fresh lime juice, fresh garlic, and just a tablespoon of sugar.
Now, this is the ingredient that people probably don't think about the most, right? There we go.
And round she goes. Wonderful. That looks great. We have some beautiful New England fresh farm-laid eggs.
looks good. Ideally, we get them light and fluffy, kind of
Sure.
scrambled. Yeah, San Antonio, where I grew up, is kind of like the capital of breakfast tacos.
Sure.
And so they're everywhere. You can find them in gas stations, obviously in a whole bunch of Mexican restaurants all over the city. People making them at home, like my grandmother used to make.
We've got some bacon. So all of our hard work is coming to fruition. Bring this right over
Got some
here.
eggs here. The egg is like the basic building
Sure.
block of one of these tacos.
Oh my
If
goodness.
the eggs are done well, and the tortillas, but they gotta be at the bottom.
Well, then would it be bacon or would it be?
Probably, no, the bacon would
Potato?
go last, I
Alright,
think,
great.
yeah.
Look at
Bacon
you getting
here.
comfortable.
Yeah,
You're
there
making
you go.
that
Yeah, so the
stranger to the
bacon's
kitchen.
gotta go last, but I know we got a little bit more.
Yeah,
Garnish.
we got some grape tomatoes, a little Mexican cheese blend, and some cilantro.
Can't go wrong with cheese on this taco. Some of these tomatoes.
Maybe you were a chef in a former lifetime. Yeah.
There you go. And a little
Oh,
bit, just
look.
a little bit of cilantro.
Yeah,
You know?
but we also have the finishing, our labor of love over here. Wow, that's a perfect way to start a day.
You better watch out, Julie, because you're gonna have a whole bunch of folks from Texas and California coming looking for this recipe.
Please.
Over. That is a well-loaded taco.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Hey, y'all. How's it going? Good to see you. Buenos dias. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that everybody's ready for some good tacos. Yeah, so, I wanted to share this meal with y'all because I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, the breakfast taco capital of the world. Today, we're having potato, egg, and bacon tacos.
Thanks.